3 generations and going strong, Viele Sons is a company built on family. And with 60 years of customer satisfaction under our belt, that foundation is just as solid now as it was in the company's earliest years. Viele Sons began with one man, Anthony Viele. Born in 1912 in Akron, Ohio, and the son of 2 Southern Italian immigrants, his family moved back to Italy when he was just 7, and 4 years later, with nothing more than a 7th grade education and speaking hardly any English, Anthony moved back to Ohio in hopes of finding steady work. And work he did, finding odd jobs, shining shoes, selling papers, and washing dishes just to get by. In 1936, he married his first wife, Phyllis, who motivated Anthony to continue learning to read and write English, and they had their eldest son, Anthony Jr., in 1943. 3 years later, the young family moved to Southern California, where Anthony opened a few bars in the West Los Angeles area before finally establishing Tony's Italian Kitchen on Santa Monica Boulevard. Phyllis Vile's untimely death in 1952 left Anthony and his son to return to Akron, where he met his second wife, Frances, and had his second son, Jim. In 1957, the 4 of them again headed west, where Tony, now weary of working in a restaurant, learned a bit about wholesaling and began selling candy, cigarettes, and eventually groceries delivered in the family station wagon and stored in his home garage. Within a year, both the business and the Viele family grew. A small panel truck was added to help make deliveries, and son Joe was born, then a daughter Nancy, son Paul, and another son Mike. Tony Jr. began helping his dad on weekends and summer breaks, which became the pattern for all the Viele boys by the time they started high school. The company Viele & Sons became official and moved into its first 5,000 square foot warehouse in downtown Los Angeles in 1962. Tony Jr. became the first in-house salesman in 1967. For the next 3 decades, Anthony's company grew exponentially, moving first to a 15,000, then a 38,000, and finally a 42,000 square foot location, and an ever-expanding fleet of bobtail trucks. Though the business flourished, this period was not met without hardships. Viele & Sons found itself in the middle of a violent union dispute among its drivers in the mid-1970s, which Tony was luckily able to overcome, and in the early 90s, expansion became an issue as the location's property owner would not agree to adding the space he needed to keep Viele & Sons growing. In 1995, with a staff of 50 full-time employees, Viele & Sons moved to its current 100,000 square foot location in Fullerton, California. In this 60th year of the company's history, Viele & Sons is now opening a second location in Orange, California. And though Anthony passed away in 2005, after 93 full years of life, the business that he built from nearly nothing lives on through the dedication of his nearly 40 children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, many of whom work day in and day out at Viele & Sons to keep the family dream alive. The dream of the son of immigrants with not much to his name except a little ingenuity and a lot of hard work.